we make a short introduction. After that, an API remember. Normally, all member here know what is an API, but just for the form, we must remember. After we have 4 point more technical presentation about GraphQL. After we speak about the advantage of GraphQL, useful links, who is using GraphQL, and a short demo. So, GraphQL, Graph Query Language, is a request language for API. It's created by Facebook in 2012, and it is open source since 2015. There is no link to any specific database and storage engine, and it is a runtime for executing queries by using a tip system you define for your data. So the API, what is it? An application program interface. It's a set of routine, protocols, and tools for building software application. Basically, an API specifies how software components should interact, and it is made to work across different devices. So to just remember. So with GraphQL, we need 2 steps. The first is to create a model. The second is to interact with this model. So the creation of the model is make side of the server, and the interaction is on the side of the client. So with comparison, we have API REST API. We create on the server service, but in GraphQL we create a model. So this model describes the data, and if we look the query on the left side, we have one query. Sorry, but can you close your micro? Because there is a lot of noise. I don't know. Okay, thank you. So on the left side, we define 2 types, query and user. In the query, we have a user called me, and in the user, we have an ID and a name. So here we can see that we define types and field on these types. And after we can furnish or define a function for each type and field of this type. So on the right side, we define a function query me on the request, and it's return the user. And we have also the function username. He returns the name of the user. So we see also we can define type. So we can add, for example, the age of the user as an integer. So here it is server side. So we create the model and what we can interact after on the client side. So in the client side, we can ask what we want, but only define on the model. So you have a runtime GraphQL on the server side. Generally, it is an URL on a web service. So this runtime can receive requests, and GraphQL when he receives a request, he checks the structure and the type of each type. Yeah. So if you see, we create a request me and the name, and we have the response me name. So we see directly that the structure of the response is exactly the same of the request. So we have exactly the same structure, and we can predict this structure before. It is not the same like in REST if we compare. And we see also if we request in the request here, if we add, for example, after name, last name, for example, currently in the model, last name is not available. So the request was rejected by the server because last name is not defined. As you can see, we just say that your user have a name and not last name. So to request me avec name and last name, we must add before in the model on the server side. Okay. So if we compare in a REST system, we can transmit only one set of arguments. Generally, it is the parameter of the request in the URL. But in GraphQL, you can make a request with fields and structured and component object. So you can, I don't know, imbriquer en anglais. Yes, you can make several components and like the request. If you say we create a query, arrow name and find. In this query, we have defined. So it is in client side, but we imagine it is defined in the server. We have the arrow with a name, and here we have a friend linked to the arrow with this name. So here we clearly see an implicit liaison between arrow and friends. So it means an arrow can have several friends. And if you compare that, if you have a database, you have imagine we have a table arrow and a table friends, and we have a primary key and foreign key between two this table. But it is here we have the link implicitly, and in the response we have one arrow R2D2 and the friends linked to this arrow. Okay. If you have a question, don't hesitate to interrupt me. So, yes, if you want to have dynamic request, is it possible in GraphQL? You can imagine, for example, in a website, you have a checkbox or yes, checkbox, for example, and you can select an episode of Star Wars, for example. So GraphQL is able to factorize the dynamic value of the request, and we must transmit it in a dictionary. And it is another part of the request, but you can send it. So it's called variables. To work with variables, we must do 3 things. First, we must replace the value in the request. So it is in the second line, we see we have arrow defined with a parameter episode, and we specify the value of the episode by a variable episode. After, we must declare this variable as a variable accepted by the request. It is on the first line. Maybe we must declare before, but yeah, we can make that simultaneous. So in the first line, we see that the arrow accepts one episode and another argument. We talked about that after. And so we declare the variable episode with the type episode. And of course, we must transmit this variable value in the dictionary. Transmit the variable is we can specify with JSON format, but it is not mandatory. It is specific to the transport that you use. So here we use JSON for the request, and we use JSON also for the dictionary of the variable, but we can choose other structure of format to pass this dictionary. So here the dictionary is just on the I don't see if you see my so the variables is here defined here. So we define the episode Jedi and also the variable with friends to false. So we receive a response. So the first thing is that we can use variables, but we can also dynamically change the structure and the format of the request with this variable. So for example, we could imagine that an interface component for a user have a view, a detailed view of some things, and a resume of the view. So for example, it is described as 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 lines. Friends, we include, and we have a connection with friends. So if we need to view all friends of the arrow, we can specify the Boolean with true, and in this case it is false. So we have a resume of the response. So we see the response. We don't have the friends linked to the arrow. So, for example, at this time we just retrieve information of using GraphQL, but it is really interesting to interact with the data, so to modify, update, delete, add data. So by convention, we know that we don't use a get method to modify the data. So it is equivalent for REST and GraphQL. So we in GraphQL we use an operation, and this operation is called mutation. So as you see, we define here a mutation create review for episode. And we can see also that this mutation we can receive from the server a response, and we can define this response too. So it is really interesting to see the new state of an object after an update, for example. So here we create this mutation. As you can see, we have two mandatory parameter. We have the episode and the review. We see that it is mandatory because we have the point d'exclamation character. So this character, I don't know in English what we say, but we have this character say it's mandatory. So in fact, if you send this mutation with no parameters, the mutation is directly rejected by the server because we need absolutely specify two arguments. So, and this mutation create a review with a new object, create review, and take also the episode and the review as parameter, and we specify the star and the commentaire. Right. So as you say, we specify always a variable. It is a different part. It's not linked to the request separatively. So we have the episode Jedi, read the review with star 5 and commentary. It's a great movie. And the response is exactly, in this case, the review. We can imagine also to return the complete episode with all review. So you can receive as you want, just create the correct architecture on the structure of the request. So here you receive only the new create review, as you can see on the left. So we have also a mechanism in GraphQL, which is a subscription. So this functionality is able to the server GraphQL to send data on the client, on the customer, when a specific event is produced on the server side. So the subscription is generally implemented with WebSocket. And in this configuration, the server maintain a stable connection with this client. So as you can see in the picture, the client subscribe to the server here, and when the event, yes, he subscribes for one event, and for this event there is trigger in the server, and when the event is when an event is generated in the server sends this event to the client. You can also define what data you would like to retrieve. You have also a subscription example that we can code. So here it is just the subscription of when you see in the Facebook, if you have if you go to a group of person, you subscribe explicitly to this group, and so you receive always for this group or the channel all the notifications. So all the message when a user add a message, you receive directly the notification as a message is added. Okay. So to resume this part, in GraphQL we see 3 different points. The query is to retrieve information from the server. We see also the mutation to interact with the server, so modify, update, delete the data, and the subscription to subscribe to an event and receive different information. So now we can speak about advantage of GraphQL. Yes, the first and significantly, we have only one schema, so one model on the server side, and we have one single endpoint. So you can access all with your data only with one URL. And when you make the development of your model, you are not concerned by the logical, and you have not to do more work because it is the client that interact with this model, and you just define this. So second point, yes, you get exactly what you need. Nothing more, nothing less. It could be an inconvenience because if you compare to REST API, when you REST API, you don't specify a lot of parameter. So here in GraphQL, for example, you can send more data than REST to the server, but you receive only the data what you need. So in a REST method, for example, you can receive, for example, 100 record, but you need only on this record 3 information, and you need only, for example, yes, the name and the last name of a hero. But in REST you can receive, for example, name, hero, last name, and the age, etc., etc. So yeah, it's for me it's an advantage, but if you can see also that you send more data to the server, so it could be an inconvenience. After, yes, the development is faster. In fact, if you must modify a missing property in REST, you must modify first the code on the server side and impact this modification on the client. With GraphQL, it's different because you must only declare a new property on the client, and the data is available directly. If you miss to view to retrieve one field, but it is already available in the model, on the server side you must do nothing. It is just on the client side, you must just add this field in the request. Sorry. Yes, GraphQL is also agnostic in terms of transport of the data. There is no link with HTTP and JSON, so you can serialize data in a binary format and transport it with more efficient protocol. So you can associate this language with a model of a backend, for example. So you are not restricted with web application. For example, it is also a good point of GraphQL because you can also use in the domain of the big data and the data science. Yes, it's all for advantage. For inconvenience, I just find one. I cherche, but I don't find more. Yeah, so you can imagine, because when you in GraphQL you can personalize your request, and each client can do that. So the usage of the server sketch is not really useful because you have not always the same request on the client. The structure, for example, is clearly different of one client or another. Another point, but I don't add it here because it's for me it's not really the case. But yeah, when you work with GraphQL, it could be at the first time complicated to work or complex, because yes, when you are in enterprise with GraphQL, you can imagine to modelize all the data structure, and in fact, if you have several databases, if you have files or other, all you can modelize in the model. You can have a big model, but as you say, as you want, as you know, sorry. There is a technical point in GraphQL that we can use to solve this problem. So we have only one big model, but I don't explain this point, but in GraphQL you can define fragments, and each fragment can define one structure data. So yes, you have one big model, but if you make that, if you code correctly on the server side, you must define several fragments specific to one data source. So for example, one database is only one fragment, and the model include this fragment. So you have always a separate model, a submodel in a general model. But yes, the complexity of the model could be really complex, because you can unbrick everything object, and if you don't make a little attention of the creation of the model, it could be a nightmare. But I imagine also that in enterprise you can have architects and DBA that have made a good job and have already the model of the database and all structured data. So if you have that, create the model of it's not really complicated if you have already the model of all data source. Another point, but I forget. Yes. I forget. Okay, so this PowerPoint is made with is based on the GraphQL official site. So with the documentation, you can find everything on this first link, graphql.org. After I use two different tools, Postman and GraphQL. So I discuss about that in the demonstration. And just for the fun, I add the enterprise, but there is more, but that use GraphQL actually. So Facebook is the first, 2012. And yeah, remember GraphQL is open source since 2015. And we have GitHub, Pinterest, Intuit, Coursera, and the last I don't remember, but it's a shopping, it's a marketplace. And we have other users. So GraphQL is really interesting for multiple environments. and yeah, it's used by it's really interest for great team, I think. So we can make the demo. So we work on a project for IBM, InfoHub, and we use GraphQL. It's the first tool that we use. I don't know if you see the GraphQL screen. Hello?
Oui, oui, on voit.
Ah, cool. So GraphQL. So as you can see, when you open it, you just specify the endpoint of the API, so the URL that you would like to interact, and you have by default a query here, and this query is an introspection query, so you can see what is really the model. So here, if I run it, I have the same result, but here we can see all the methods that we can access. So here we have acknowledgement, etc., etc. But I use really GraphQL for the documentation explorer. It is really interesting to use that because you can progress in the tree of the model. So here we have on the root of the model, and we see we have two possibilities. We have query or mutation. So query, it's retrieve information, and mutation interact with the data. So if we go to query, we see we have different query that we can use, and we can advance and parcours all object and all method that we can access. So it's really interesting to have this tool because you can simply parcours the tree. The inconvenience with this tool is that you can easily save your request. So imagine you create a request, but in 10 minutes after you would like to retrieve your request and resend this request. You must copy paste in Notepad, etc., and copy paste. So it's yeah, it's not really comfortable. So for that, I use Postman. So and Postman, so it's the same. You can specify the URL. Here we use variables of Postman to don't create it again. We have the same query as a GraphQL, so we can create here also, and we have exactly the same results, as you can see in Postman and GraphQL. It's a good news. So we have the same, and so you can also create your query with more details. Here it is a really basic introspection query. So after, just for the example, here we retrieve an order in the database. I don't use the GraphQL variables here, but I can use it. Here I use only the variables defined in GraphQL. So we have ID, we have other variables, but I don't use the GraphQL variable. And we have a request that retrieve all order in the database. So if I send it, it's me that there is 27 orders in the database, and we see always the last object created. So here it is the last object that I have created, and after that we have the order in the so it is the more recent insert in the database that appears first, and the order after. So here we see that we have 27 order, and we try to insert a new order. I don't know if it works because I tested this morning and it doesn't work, but yes, we can try. Just to, I don't know if you know Postman, but you can add your script. So it is useful when you like to use dynamically test variable. So here I just set a timestamp and I create it always with new timestamp, and we can also must be test. So it is not a GraphQL properties, it is only linked to Postman. So you can do that also in REST, but you can also validate your response with that. So here, just to illustrate that, the timestamp is generate it, and you can also use function randomize. So here I create a random item. So we create it. So here the response of the API just say, okay, you are insert an order, and we have an ID. It is not the object ID here, but it is a role ID. But yes, in this example, it is really specific to the API and not for GraphQL. So yes, so 27. We also the 28. Yes, 28. Perfect. So we see that we create a new order, and this order is the last, so it's the first that appears in the request, so in the response. So we have the order identifier and different information of this order, and the previous order that we have before, it was this. Okay. So it is just a short demo, but I wouldn't like to enter to the details because there is a lot of specificity of InfoHub API, and it is not it is ambiguous with the GraphQL notion. So do you have questions? Anybody have questions?
It seems that it was very clear, Valentin.
It seems. So if you have any question, if you have any problems when you would like to start with GraphQL, I am available and I can answer to your questions.